Insane in the membrane.
Hello and welcome to another edition of your favourite podcast, Insane in the Membrane, with me, Rich Wilson. And this week I'm joined by the brilliant Katie Norris. Hello.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm great. I've voted. I'm feeling
Yes.
great. I'm feeling positive.
Well done. The nation gripped with voting fever. It's funny how they make it so difficult, don't they? Like, you still have to go out of your house and go to a building, and you have to use a certain pen and you have to do a certain way. But if you want to vote for dancers and singing, you can just do it on your telly.
That's true. Although it was quite nice leaving the house today. I think when I have to be held accountable to walk, it's quite nice.
Yeah. Brilliant. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Like people are saying, I keep seeing a lot of videos at the moment, get out there, move more, eat less, do this, do that. And then just sometimes like, I cannot be asked. I know I should go for a walk.
I was ill last week and my iPhone sent me a notification saying, you have not moved for 5 days. Are you all right? You know, the health app.
Yeah.
I think I'd walked a kilometre a day and it was like, is everything okay?
But this is the thing, we're governed by the phones. The phone's always telling you off. And then you've got like social media, like Instagram, and Instagram's now, you know, and Facebook now, like, oh, well done. That post that you did really well. Why don't you post another one? And it's like, fuck off.
I know. I mean, I don't really do the reels that much. I posted one reel last November and it did well, you know, like it did quite well. And then I actually paid to boost it back out into the algorithm. Yeah. And it did the same thing again. And then I just thought, I don't need to do another one.
Yeah.
But then I have paid.
Yeah. That's it. This is the thing that someone was telling me ages ago, that all these boosted posts and all these things, it's like, yeah, that's fine, but 10 quid's not going to get you anywhere. Like the people that were behind the Huel stuff, the fitness milkshakes and that, they spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on Facebook ads and things like that. And so, you know, I'll go, I'll spend a tenner and that'll boost it. And then you go, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Although I tell you, Huel didn't get to my phone. I've never seen a Huel ad on my phone, which says more about me, I think.
The algorithms know you so well.
Yeah, mine's just cats, plus size models, which I don't mind, and relationship therapy.
Yeah, at the minute I'm getting stacks of narcissist stuff. I think I watched one video on how to deal with a narcissist, and now I'm just inundated with it. And you go, I get it. I understand what a narcissist is now.
I know. Well, they say that like 1 in 10 of the population are narcissists, aren't they? Or maybe even more now because of social media, because of the way we are, the things that we're, I don't know, putting out there. But yeah, narcissism. I could talk about that for hours.
Have you been affected by it? That's the videos I get. I clicked on one because I didn't realise at the time. Wasn't until later on I went, oh shit, yeah, that was a full-blown narcissist, like a full textbook. Because, you know, you get everyone, because of what we do, like you've just said, people go, oh, there's a bit of narcissism in it. And you go, not proper narcissism, not real full-bodied narcissism.
Yeah, because I think, I mean, I feel like you have to be sometimes really careful with the narcissist word, because you can just be like, oh, he's a narcissist, or she's a narcissist, or, you know, they're a sociopath. But I think everyone's on like a spectrum, and sometimes I'll meet someone with like narcissistic traits or whatever. But then sometimes, some people are as scary as being totally hollow inside. Yeah. There's loads of them in comedy as well.
Oh, there's so many. And now I've been around it, I can see it. Yeah. And it's like that John Ronson book, The Psychopath Test. I remember reading that. And it says halfway, because you're reading it and you go, shit, am I? And then halfway through, one of the doctors, and she says, if you're reading this book and you're thinking, am I a psychopath? You're not a psychopath, because they don't think like that. And that's the same with narcissists. They don't
Yeah,
think like that.
some I've met two narcissists in my life, and they said they were narcissists and they're proud of it.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, that's how did you deal with that?
One of them was an ex-boyfriend of not mine, a friend. And then one of them was a guy I went on a few dates with who said he was a narcissist, but he said he'd cured his narcissism. And I don't know if you can be cured of narcissism.
I don't think so. You can be aware of it, I guess, like you've just said. Yeah. But even then you start to go, because they're quite, it's a manipulative thing, isn't it? And when they start to say, oh, I've cured it or I've done it, you go, oh, this is still part of it. Yeah. This is still part of the thing.
Yeah. 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 In a way, it's more dangerous to say they've cured it, because it kind of, they're sort of making you aware of who they are, but saying that they're a reformed person.
Yeah.
They're telling you who they are, basically.
Yeah. Like you see a lot of men and I'm a feminist, and straight away you go, okay, why do you need to tell people that? What's going on? Straight away, alarm bells.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wear a T-shirt that says I'm a feminist when I go to the gym, so that no one talks to me.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing. It's different. It's different. If you wear that, people go, "Oh, right." If I wear that, people go, "What's he up to? What's his game?"
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he just wants a shag. He's so desperate. But yeah, and then I wear it, and it's like, she does not want a shag. Do not approach.
Just those two simple things next to each other, total different, opposite meanings.
Yeah.
Oh God! But do you find it with I mean, yeah, when you meet someone now, I don't know if it's because I'm a bit older, but I tend to trust my gut a bit more. I was talking about this the other day, actually, because I haven't for years. There's been so many times I should have done. And,
of course.
Yeah, and then when you're dating, like you talk about going on a date, and then you sort of like an hour or so in, and you just feel your gut's going, wait, there's something up here. Yeah,
I mean, because it's like your gut doesn't lie to you, and it's like all of those feelings you get when you first meet someone is literally your body going like danger, danger, danger. But I think so many of us just have learned not to trust that feeling or that sensation in our bodies, and I have had that so many times and just ignored it. So I think, and I actually don't think you can kind of prepare yourself for that. You know, when some people like shame other people by going, oh, I would never have like entered that relationship, or I would have dealt with that differently, like putting the shame or the onus on you. I think anyone can be drawn in by people like that, I think.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I remember this particular example where, I mean, it wasn't just my gut. My gut was churning, but then everybody I knew was going, mate, no. And I didn't listen. and then
very true, yeah.
And they were all right, because I don't know why you feel the need to override it and override what they're saying to you. It's weird, isn't it? When you get properly sucked in. Yeah.
And also I think some people can treat you differently than they treat other people. So they can have like a community of people that like you say, just kind of see the best side of them. But when because I think, it's always quite shocking, I think, sometimes when I sort of have always liked someone and then I hear that they did something awful to like someone I know. And I'm like, but that's not the person I know. They weren't like that with me. But actually some people just have different sides that they choose to show other people.
Well, this is it. I mean, I've done, I think about my behaviour from when I was growing up, and it may, I'm not proud of it. It was just me it was more selfishness rather than narcissism. And so there are, I mean, and I get it, in this life, there are people that like you, people that don't like you. But when there's somebody like that is, you go, you're a completely different person with me. That is insane. How do you do that?
Yeah, and it's really isolating as well, because you're kind of telling people about it and they're like, okay, well, that's your experience. But you can have two, if when you're in a relationship with someone, you're both experiencing like different things.
Yes.
And not one of them is more truthful than the other in a way. You're just seeing it differently.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it is tough. Like that whole kind of gut instinct thing. I'm so single, but I'm not dating at the moment. I'm having a period of celibacy.
Right.
And one of the reasons for that was because I had a really awful dating experience earlier this year that just sort of, I just went, oh no, like I need a break. I've got to go to Edinburgh with a clear mind. And I ignored those gut instincts, and I still went ahead and got burnt.
Oh.
And it kind of, and I, I'm 34, and it gets to a point where you're like, oh, when will this end? When will this end?
This tedious shit, this game that we have to play.
I know. And also this like what I'm sort of dealing with at the moment is that, like, I think when you've been burnt quite a lot by the opposite sex, which I have, I will openly admit, it's really hard to like have this thought in your head where you're like, I hate men.
Yeah.
But you want a relationship. I will never meet anyone if I hate men.
Do you find this is the thing? Is like you said, because there's been a few times when you've been burnt.
Yeah.
And of course, you're a human being. You're going to get to a point where you go, oh, do you know what? Fuck this. Fuck them.
I know.
Fuck them all. I'm just, because it's, there's been a couple of times with me, and it is tricky not to go, well, they're all like that. It's like, and it's not true, obviously.
Yeah, and it's easy to be radicalized as well, like what we were saying about social media, because if my algorithm is constantly sending me messages from women going like, narcissist, emotionally unavailable men, how to do this, and thousands of comments underneath the videos from women that are just like, I've given up, Yeah. Because I really stupidly joined this Facebook group, which I need to leave, I think. Called "Are We Dating the Same Guy?" Have you heard about it?
No.
Okay, it was mentioned on a podcast. What's she? Oh, I've forgotten the name of her. Anyway, it was mentioned on a podcast, and it's basically got thousands of members, and they're all in different cities. And this is "Are We Dating the Same Guy?" London, and what happens is women post pictures of men that they've matched with on an app, or, that they've been on a few dates with, or, that they've broken up with after like being married to, just any guy's picture. And they say their name, and then they explain why they've got red flags and why they should be avoided to warn other women.
Wow.
And so and it's got like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of members. And I've seen people I know on there. But it's really scary, because there are women posting these pictures of men that just look like normal people. Yeah. And underneath it'll be like, do not go on a date with this guy. He sexually assaulted me.
Oh my God.
Or do not go on a date with this guy. He has a wife and children, and he's been seeing me for 6 months. Like, it'll get like hundreds and hundreds of comments from women saying, I've dated this guy, and it's like these prolific people going around and abusing women, and it's really like quite confronting, like it's saved women's like lives and stuff.
Holy shit. I never got into the dating thing. It was everybody I've ever sort of been in a relationship, I met them through work, or we sort of knew each other before, and then it became a relationship. But I don't, the dating thing, when I ended up single for a bit after all the lockdowns, and I was talking to friends of mine, and I just get out there, mate, get out there and start dating, and it terrified me, genuinely terrified me. I don't know how you go. I don't even know how you do it. How do you do it? It's awful.
Yeah. It is really hard, because when I was in my 20s, I got loads of attention from men all the time, especially if I was thin. So like I would see, like, if I lost, like, so I'm a bit heavier now than I was in my 20s, but when I was at my thinnest, I would have loads of attention from men. It was like an obvious correlation.
Right.
Which was just like depressing, obviously. And then as soon as I'm in my 30s, it's just stopped. Like, and becoming a stand-up comedian, it's just, I don't get any attention as much anymore. And so I'm kind of on the apps a lot, but then I delete them. So I go on the apps for like 2 weeks and then I delete them for like, so I haven't been on the apps for 6 months or something.
Right.
But I think because the apps have kind of sucked the romance out of dating a little bit.
Yeah.
What that means is when you meet someone in real life, you put like a really high value on it. So if I meet someone at a party, and even if they have red flags, I'm like, but we met in real life. It must be so amazing. We met in real life. And then I'll just date them because we met in real life.
Yeah.
When actually they're crazy.
But it's funny, is it? Because you're able to sort of keep a lid on that crazy for a bit. And I suppose it's easier if you're talking through an app.
Oh, you've frozen.
Oh, sorry. Is it come back?
Is he frozen for you, Paul, as well?
I don't know. All of us keep freezing at different points.
As well. I feel like I'm really in the sun as well. So
I was going to say, I wonder what was going on.
It's just the sun.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a light. I'm like, are you just sitting in the hallway under a bare light bulb?
It's a skylight. And actually, I've got this stray cat that keeps coming in through the windows.
Yeah.
So I have to be careful not to leave it open.
Oh wow, we've got a cat around here, and it's a lovely cat, but we don't touch it now. We're not quite sure whose it is, and we used to go, oh look at this lovely cat, and it was so friendly. You'd pull up in the car, and it would come and greet you. Oh look at the cat, and then we got in one day, and there's a flea in the lounge. You're like, absolutely not, right? I'm not touching that thing.
Oh my god, you need to be careful if you found a flea.
Yeah.
I got a flea infestation because I sort of took in a stray cat and thought I was doing the Lord's work, and then in the end ended up having to spend thousands of pounds on fucking flea treatment.
Oh God.
So stressful, all because I was like, look at me, Mother Nature with all of my cats, and then literally, I had to set off. Did you have to set off a flea bomb? Do you know what they are?
No.
Oh my god, they're basically like these little fireworks.
Okay.
And you have to set them off if you have any fleas in the house, and it creates this basically like smoke bombs in the house. Like it smells like fireworks, and then you have to sort of set it off, leave the room, and then leave the house for like a few hours. So I set off like 3 flea bombs, went to the shops. I came back and upstairs had rung the fire brigade.
Yeah, except for downstairs was.
And I was there just like, it's fleas, you don't understand.
Which is what, just like, fleas is the better option. No, it's not on fire. I've got fleas.
Yeah, I've actually, how dare you? I'm really sorry.
Oh God, that's amazing. Oh, God, I hope we don't have to do that. We're moving out soon, so maybe we'll have to.
Where are you going?
So we're going to the West Country.
Oh my God, are you? That's where I'm from.
Really? Whereabouts?
I'm from from Exmoor, which is like a national park, so it's like middle of nowhere. And then, but I suppose like Taunton would be like the nearest place.
So producer Paul has just moved down to Bradford on Avon.
Nice.
And so that's why he's moving around. That's where he is now in his new improved studio. We're moving to Shepton Mallet first in a couple of weeks' time with Kate's mum, and then we're going to try and find somewhere like sort of around the Froome area.
Amazing. That makes me so happy that you're doing that. You're going to have, that's such an amazing place to bring up a child as well.
Yes. See, that was it. It was. It's all right where where we are. We're right by the sea. It's literally 5 minutes down that way, and it's amazing. But it's a bit shit around here. So,
yeah,
and we were like, the West Country. We love it down there. It's easier to get to gigs.
How is it easier to get to gigs for you?
Because we're right down in Worthing, which is near Brighton, and so to start going north, you're like an hour and a half before you even start. Once you've got round the M25, then you can start your journey. So it's an extra thing. Whereas when I've done a few journeys from Shepton Mallet, straight up the M5 to Birmingham, and then on to onto wherever you need to go, Sheffield and things, and it's so much easier.
Okay, well, this makes me really happy to hear, because I am constantly wanting to move back west.
Yeah.
To be near my family.
Well, this is it. Yeah. Loads of people are moving out that way.
That really, like, yeah, because I have this fear of, like, losing work and, like, kind of that happening. But I would love to be back in this country.
Well, this is it, because, like, talking to Paul about it and having spent some time there gigging and stuff, because Jared Christmas has got a few gigs out that way, and there's gigs in Wells, and there's gigs as far as down as Falmouth, and it's a good scene.
Yeah, and Bristol. I always love the audiences that I performed to in Bristol. I was there last week. I got the sweetest message from this girl afterwards saying how she's never seen comedy before and loved it, and I was just like, this is why I love Bristol.
Yeah, see, it's a brilliant, brilliant place. And you've got, it's an hour and a half from back to London. You go and you get there from Westbury. You don't have to go into Bristol. I think you should come with us. Come with us.
Yeah, I'll be a nanny.
Yeah, come on.
I'm really good with kids. I've got my niece and my nephew, and I've got my 2 godsons who live pretty much next door to me now.
Yeah. There you go.
So
see,
I love
it's meant to be.
I love kids. It is. Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be doing this again at this age, but here we are with this little one.
Well, how old are you? Because my dad was 50 when I was born.
Oh, really? I'm 52.
There you go.
Ah,
he is dead now.
Oh, okay. We've talked about that. We were joking the other day. We were talking about graduation, and I went, "Yeah, maybe." don't buy 2 tickets just yet.
No, you could just. He didn't look after himself.
Okay.
Well, he did and he didn't. He was born in the 1940s. He was born in 1940.
Right. Okay.
So, and everyone smoked.
Yep.
And he smoked from probably about 16 to 66.
Bloody hell.
And, that's like, and he also like, did loads of sport and was slim and all of that. So, but I think smoking was just, you just smoked and smoked basically. And he smoked like 40 a day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so he got, cancer when I was 16. And he recovered from that with radiotherapy. And then from 16 to 31, so what I was 16 to 31, he was it was like a slow decline. And so he died at 81.
My God.
I think if he hadn't have smoked, it would have, not great.
It's funny when I look, I'm interested in old actors, like where are they now? What happened to them? And every single one of them, it says emphysema, lung cancer.
Yeah. So he went to RADA. So he was like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he was in the same year as Anthony Hopkins.
And, oh, wow.
Mike Lee, the playwright Mike Lee.
Yeah.
And he used to say that Sir Anthony Hopkins was really selfish on stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had loads of good anecdotes like that. But so he moved to the West Country at 50 to bring up me and my brother with my mum. So you were doing the same thing.
Yeah, except smoking. I've never smoked.
That's so good. Well done.
Yeah, well, my mum used to smoke a lot, and I think I hated it so much. Even now, it's like I can't watch the TV show The Royal Family because they have full up ashtrays all the time. And it reminds me of when I was a kid, and I'm like, I can't. It's too real.
Wow. I love smoking.
Do you really?
Well, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I do vape.
Okay.
But I find that like vaping is actually way more addictive than smoking ever was.
Well, isn't it stronger in a weird sort of way?
Well, it's like I never used to smoke a lot. But when I did smoke, I felt really sick, even after one cigarette. Like my fingers would smell and my throat would hurt, and I would be more susceptible to like getting colds and feeling like really ill afterwards.
Right.
But when I vape, I don't feel any symptoms of illness or anything, or even tiredness. It's weird.
Did it not put you off seeing your dad being ill? Is it not? Did it? You just weren't. The thing is, did it not?
Really, really weirdly, it had the opposite effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I started smoking when he got diagnosed, and I've always wondered why that happened. But there must have been some sort of self-sabotage or some sort of reason behind it that I haven't ever been able to figure out.
Maybe because he enjoyed it so much and he couldn't do it anymore. You kind of, I'll do it for you, Dad. I'll take that on for you.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Yeah,
I'll do that. It's
maybe.
Yeah, you never know. My middle son Bailey started smoking, and then he went to uni in Bristol, and it sort of and and he knew how much I didn't like it. And then I was at my eldest son lives in Bristol as well, and his wife came in and said she didn't think, she just came in and, "Oh, Bailey, can I have one of your rollies?" And he went all big-eyed like that, and then he just disappeared up into his room, and I had to text him like, "Just calm down, it's fine. There's nothing I can do. Don't worry about it." He was so upset.
Oh, that's sweet though that he cared about your opinion like that.
Yeah, I don't listen. You're doing it. Don't you're a grown up now. That's up to you. So I just don't want it to be, like I say, you see all these people that get really ill because of it, and I'm like, see, that could have been avoided. But then I say that, and I used to drink quite a bit, so who am I to judge?
Yeah. Well, how old is he? Because I feel like if you do quit before you're 30, you're kind of all right, I think.
Oh, really? He's 26, be 27 in a couple of weeks. So
yeah, so he should probably quit soon, I guess.
Yeah. It's funny with vaping. Because I know people that never smoked and do vape, comedians that we know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. I don't know. I think it's more addictive, and the reason I picked up a vape was because I didn't want to smoke in Edinburgh.
Right.
And so I thought, I'll just vape, and it worked. I haven't smoked a cigarette since, but it just means that I spend a fortune on vapes. I probably go through 2 a week, maybe, which actually isn't that much. But
yeah. I suppose they don't last very long. I guess it's. So your dad died quite recently then?
Yeah, it was three years ago last week or a couple of weeks ago.
I'm sorry to hear that. It's one of those things, isn't it? That's we've talked about this before on here, and it's going to happen eventually. And there's a day when you realise it, and it's really upsetting. Yeah, and then you sort of, but when it actually happens, it still must be awful. It was pretty awful, because I remember it was just when it happened, when my brother rang me, it was just such a beautiful day. And then I had to drive back to Somerset, on my own in the car. Oh, God. And then, and because I use humor as a bit of a tool, right? I walked into my mum and brother sat on the sofa, having been up all night, dealing with the whole trauma. And the first thing I said was, have I missed anything? Or I said something like, "What's up? What's new?" Or something where that kind of just completely inappropriate. Yeah. Because I don't know, it was just a way of just dealing with the situation. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird. It's like you probably on a subconscious level knew, and it was your way of sort of dealing with it. Yeah. You had an inkling that something was up.
Oh yeah, he was really ill for ages. He was really ill. He had a condition in the end called COPD, which is COPD is basically just means that you're constantly out of breath. Right. Oh God. Your lungs aren't working basically, and so it means that even if he dropped a pen on the floor, he couldn't pick it up, and if he did pick it up, he'd be so out of breath. Oh my God. And so he was totally immobile, and he had breathing apparatus.
Oh God, that's made me catch my breath. That's awful.
Yeah. So he was just fading away, but also he was kind of very still really sharp in his mind. So that was the saddest thing. But he spent a lot of time on the computer, like writing and like playing. He played a lot of online bridge.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, when your brain is still firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But your body, but the machine around it is just falling apart. That must be awful.
Yes. It was very hard. It was really, really, it was so confronting going home and seeing, and my mum was caring for him full time throughout the pandemic. And I was like bubbling with, doing a bubble with them. And I hated being around it. I hated it. And I felt guilty for that. And I just wanted to leave as soon as I got there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I still feel guilty about that because he'd want me to like sit in the room with him and like talk to him about my life and like stuff. And I would just be like, I couldn't cope with like the it was just so graphic, like so yeah, it was so when he passed away, obviously you're grieving this person that's not around anymore, but there was definitely this element of like relief, like collectively around the family, that was like, okay, well, that it's really sad, obviously, but also, it was going to happen.
Yeah. And it's good that he's not suffering anymore. That's what you take away from it, isn't it? It's that to live. I mean, it's a strange example, but there's a bit in the first Deadpool film, and one of the guys sort of tortures the Ryan Reynolds, and he just like cuts his oxygen off, but just enough so he can't catch his breath, and he leaves him like that for a weekend. And that bit of the film, I remember watching it, I'm like, that is awful. That's probably one of my worst nightmares, that. And then you're saying to your dad was like that. He just couldn't do anything. Yeah. That's so sad. That is so sad. It was
sad. Yeah. But it was, he was such an amazing dad in lots of ways. And also it's been so nice to see my mum get her independence back because, obviously there's someone caring for someone. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't leave the house. And now she's got two grandchildren that she sees as much as she can and has like a life again.
Yeah. And that's it. Your dad would be pleased with that as well. That I think I'm assuming he'd be like, you're back out there now. You haven't got to worry about things. That's because my nan was the same. My nan was bedridden at the end, and I saw her once after the lockdowns, and I just couldn't face it again. She was just,
God, it's sad, isn't it? That feeling of not being, yeah. It is so hard seeing somebody that you remember being so kind of vibrant and, I don't know, physically able, I guess. Seeing them in a different body is really hard to deal with. And you do feel really selfish for not wanting to be around it. It's a really horrible, natural human reaction. Yeah,
because I felt so bad. I was relieved when she passed away because she was then like, there was no suffering. She was gone.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. But then it was that moment I was like, I never went and saw her. I feel terrible. But then I doubt she would have known I'd been there anyway. It was at that point, she was at that stage of her life. And I have said out loud, I remember sitting on my bed and I had a particularly strong bout of guilt. And I genuinely said out loud, Nan, I'm really sorry. I just couldn't see you like that. And and then there was a sudden, like a calm.
Yeah,
which
that's
was nice.
Yeah, you have to find a way to forgive yourself. Definitely. But I'm sure her last words were, "Where is Rick?"
He's got my biscuits.
Yeah, you're out of my will.
That piece of shit said he'd be here.
They're talking about you. They're talking about us in heaven right now. If it exists.
That's what when a musician passes away and they go, he's up there now jamming with Hendrix. It's like, she's up there now slagging me off to your dad.
Exactly, she is. My dad's playing bridge with the Labour Party, the dead Labour Party constituents. Having the best time.
Having a great time. We live actually, where our flat is, the car park is the Bridge Club, and we see them all piling in. Sometimes they're there at 9 a.m.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I can't imagine our generation playing bridge. My dad was trying to get me to learn bridge, to keep the traditions of bridge. But I think most people play Candy Crush now, and
do you think that's what we'll have instead of that? We've got the Bridge Club in this wonderfully. It looks like either an old school or a really small old church.
Yeah.
And do you think like later on it's going to be Candy Crush clubs turning up?
But yeah. Well, but I've never played at any sort of. I've never played a game, an online game or anything.
What?
Like we never had like PlayStation or Nintendos or anything like that. And I think it's because I was the product of older parents.
Yeah, that's true.
So my dad was 50 and my mum was 40, and we just didn't have. I don't know. Yeah, I was brought up by what other people would consider their grandparents. So I never had like PlayStation or anything.
Wow. Have you got siblings, did you say?
I got 3 older brothers, yeah. 2 of them are half brothers, yeah.
Okay. And so they didn't influence you in any way when it came to
yeah, for sure. My eldest brother is 58.
Right.
And then I've got a brother that's 53. And then my sort of full brother is 35, so a year older than me. Yeah.
Oh wow!
But yeah, so it was. I think because of that, I've never really seen age as like. I don't. You know how I'm trying to, because I had an older boyfriend for a while as well.
Yeah.
And I just think I've always been. My friends' parents when I was at school were the same age as my brothers.
Okay. Yeah.
So when I would go around for tea, I'd be like, "Oh, hey, Jan," and like talk to them like they were like we're on. Whereas like when people would meet other parents, they'd be like, "Oh, hello, Mrs. Norris."
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've just always been friends with like older people. Like never really seen age as like I don't know what the word is, like barrier or.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I've been out with people of different varying ages. There's been a few people that have been younger than me. A couple that were the same age, and then I've been out. I remember being with someone for 5 years who was 18 years older than I was. So
wow,
same age as my mum, and and it used to be funny just sitting there watching my mum and my partner at the time really getting on. I'm like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, my dad loved my ex-boyfriend who I was with for years, he was much older than me, but they were still 25 years difference in age.
Yeah, so, right.
Yeah.
I do remember being in a relationship with somebody briefly, but I remember we'd been out a few times, and then we were talking about stuff, and then she said blah 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 blah. I went, hang on a minute, how old are you? And she said, and she was the same age as my eldest son, and I just went, I can't. No, this feels weird now. And and I just said, I don't feel this can carry on. It just made me feel odd. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. I get it. My ex-boyfriend, he had 2 daughters that were a little bit younger than me.
Oh, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like when I see people that are in relationships with people that are like, they're in their 40s and they're with people that are in their 20s. And it's up to them. It's up to them. You do you. It's your life. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know how that. Just I don't know.
No, I totally get it. I totally understand. And I think it's so subjective to the situation. And I think it also depends on the context of how you meet.
Yeah.
Because even though I was with an older man for a long time, I don't generally fancy older men. It's not like a habit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we met in a situation where we were both equals. Like it wasn't like he was my teacher or my therapist or, my manager.
Yeah. Got you.
We met doing a job where we were paid the same amount of money and we were friends. And then it happened organically. And so I think sometimes the age gap thing could be an issue if you're on the apps, for example, and you're just targeting a younger age group. You're looking for it for a reason.
Just sounds weird, doesn't it? I mean, I'm the same as you. Like you just said, people that I've never met them through dating apps. He wasn't dating. We've met doing work. We've been working, and so, like you've just said, we were equals, and so the age thing didn't really matter because we got on really well. It was just that moment when it was like, oh yeah, I'm this. I'm like, oh, okay, no, just odd. Yeah.
It all does depend on the context, because it's like if your first instinct is just to find someone younger because you want to manipulate someone or whatever.
Yes.
Or if I was just going and hanging around old people's homes because I wanted an old rich man.
Hanging around all the posh ones, all the posh places, just in case.
Yeah. Is it Rupert Murdoch's on his fourth wife now? Is that right?
I mean, it's his fourth wife in about as many months as well. He's barreling through everybody. Jerry Hall.
Yeah.
And then that finished after about a year. Now he's with, I don't really take any notice, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's icky, isn't it?
It is icky, but I mean, she's not 20.
No, that's true. There's famously Leonardo DiCaprio likes them.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? But Leonardo DiCaprio, he's stuck somewhere mentally, isn't he?
Do you know what he is? And for me, when I watch him, I'm like, you look like a child. Even in he's a great actor, but I watch him, I'm like, you're a giant child.
Yeah.
So you're right. Yeah, there's an Arrested Development thing going on, maybe.
Yeah, and I think that's quite common for child actors. I think.
Right, they kind of get stuck in a.
Well, they just get stuck in a time when they were like, they were pin-ups, you know. And when he was in Titanic and stuff like that, he was on my wall, you know.
Oh God, yeah, of course he was. It was on everybody's wall, wasn't he?
Yeah, so maybe he's just stuck in this kind of like time warp thing. Yeah.
I don't know. It's. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah. I'm not making excuses for Leonardo DiCaprio, by the way, but there you go.
Yeah. So you've got a new show. You're right. You've got a new show. Is this a brand new show that you're taking to Edinburgh?
It's a brand new show that I've been figuring out and working on very, very slowly since the pandemic, which is when I started stand-up, like when I started pursuing it properly.
Yeah.
And it's called Fatale.
Nice.
Like femme fatale, but farm. Yeah.
So why is it? Why is it Farm Fatale? What's the show about?
Well, it's I grew up on a farm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There you go. That's it.
And I did an interview the other day with Radio Bath, and they were like asking me how much agricultural content's going to be in the show. Like, this guy was so excited. He was like asking me like what animals were going to be in it, you know, all of this stuff, and I had to be like, all I do is I come out at the start of the show and sing a song going Farm Fatale, and then that's it with the farm stuff. And also the femme fatale archetype, obviously, in films. It's this kind of like vulnerable woman who that comes across sort of evil and manipulative, and usually she has like an end. She ends the film either dying or realizing that she's actually wants to be a trad wife, or she shoots someone and she uses her feminine wiles. Like, I think that archetype's really interesting.
Very much so. Yeah.
And it also links in with my comedic persona a little bit, because I do sort of think I do find it quite fun to like be a little bit sexually threatening on stage. I just think it's funny. It makes me laugh, and it sort of seems to make other people laugh. So I have like that. There's an element of that in the show, which is nice because I'm celibate, so I'm like veering between these two kind of like
Yeah.
women. Like, yeah, it's that the conflict is that basically, and it's about my life the last 3 years living with my flatmate who is 8 years younger than me, called Sophie, getting a cat, and it's got a lot of dating anecdotes that I turn into songs. So I've got a song which is about wanting to be James Acaster, which is about dating men that want to be comedians. Because I think sometimes when I go on a date with a man who's not a comedian, I find that there's this moment where he goes, "Oh, if you can do it, I can do it," and then it unlocks this unfulfilled potential.
Every time, every single time, everybody thinks that they can be a comedian, especially fellas.
Exactly. And I found as well that they're always like, I'm lightly taking the piss out of them, because I obviously would really like a partner to be like encouraging of like me being a comedian, because that's what I do. But I do sometimes find that like they'll be really impressed that you're a comedian, but only then want to talk about comedy all the time.
Yeah.
And they'll be super excited about it, but then after a few weeks they'll be like, "Oh, but I don't feel funny around you. Like, I want to feel funny."
Oh God, yeah.
So, but that's just a small part of it. And then I've got a song about dating a French techno DJ, and then I guess like the loose narrative throughout the show is that a woman stole my cat for a while. She started feeding him.
Oh, classic. Yeah.
So this is where the femme fatale stuff really comes into play, because I basically get him back through like some sort of revenge.
Aye, nice. It must be quite this when you hear the phrase femme fatale, and it's always you imagine a kind of like, yeah, they've been downtrodden, they've been this, doing that, and then they sort of reinvent themselves, and they're this exotic kind of. It's like, but the song Babushka with Kate Bush is that kind of.
And Kate Bush was a big inspiration for me as well. I love Kate Bush.
Brilliant.
So I've definitely got Kate Bush element to it. There's a Kate Bush moment where I'm searching for Atticus in the garden, and then there's this sort of I end the show on this like really long act out where I break into Christine's house.
Oh wow!
And get my cat back, basically. It's fun. I'm going to have loads of fun performing it, I think.
I need to come and see this now. I want to know what happens. I want to see.
Please come and see it. I'm really excited about it.
I want to see how. I mean, I can't imagine. It must be quite tricky to be sexually threatening in wellies.
Oh no, because I don't wear wellies, for God's sake.
Because you're a femme fatale, but you got your hunters on.
Oh God, yeah, I am, because it's me with a pitchfork in the poster as well.
Like that depression painting of the two, the man and the woman.
Yeah, I love that picture.
Yeah, that's a good picture. That. Yeah.
So yeah, it's the farm is where I've come from, but I obviously live in London now, so I hope people won't be too disappointed that I don't have any farmyard animals in it.
I think what makes me laugh is that you've come up with the name and then work your way backwards. You've gone, oh, that's a good title for a show.
I know.
We've all done it.
I mean, it's great. Yeah, exactly. I thought of the title like 3 years ago. It was always going to be called Farm Fatale. I think it still works in a way.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And there are animals in it. The cat story is a beautiful through line. That's brilliant. And you end up having to break into the person's house to go get it. Yeah. So
I sort of talk about how the bio for the show is Femme Fatale. What is a Femme Fatale? An agricultural icon and a seductive woman who is likely to cause delight or distress to anyone who becomes involved with her or her livestock. And my livestock in the show is Atticus, my cat.
Brilliant. So. I love it. And where is it? Where are you on?
Pleasance Courtyard at 8:30.
Oh, wonderful. Very nice. And that's for the entire run of Edinburgh?
I'm doing the whole run. Yeah.
Excellent.
Are you up?
I'm going up for the last week. I'm going up from the 19th until the finish. Just going to do a week at Bannerman's. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, I did Bannerman's.
Yeah, is it good?
I did my first stand-up like split bill in 2021 at Bannerman's at 4:00. What time are you?
Yeah, 4:00. So
hey, it's brilliant. I loved it. You must know Bannerman's quite well, though.
I do. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Bannerman's.
yeah. They're really nice in there. I like them. It is a bit smelly.
That's what I love about it. We were talking about this the other day. We were talking about Edinburgh. Every room is different, but every room has a smell where you go, I'm in Edinburgh.
Yeah, 100%.
And it brings you. I love it.
It's like being back at your primary school gymnasium.
Yes, exactly that. That.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm looking forward to the fact I'm not up there for a whole month.
I'm really looking forward to it because it's my sixth Edinburgh. But my first one alone, so it is my debut.
Wow!
So,
how do you find that working on your own now? Is it?
There's pros and cons. I think the pros being that I can work whenever I want. There's no compromise, right? So if I feel like writing in the morning, I can just get up and write. I don't have to. All the decisions are by myself. The cons are I'm sat in a room trying to come up with a joke or something, and there's no one to bounce it off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even yesterday, I was just staring at my laptop, going fuck, like, because I still got bits of the show that I haven't quite put together yet, and that makes me panic. Whereas when there's someone there that helps you absorb that, or makes you see something differently. But I do ask for help. I have been asking for help because I think that's important. But yeah. And also another pro is that you get paid.
Oh yeah, yeah. It must be tricky in a double act, just trying to get money.
Yeah, because I've been in comedy a really long time. Like me and Sinead started writing together in 2010, and then we first got representation in 2015. So for 10 years, I was like properly grafting in a double act. And then I only really probably the last couple of years have started to get paid from stand up. But even when I get like 50 quid for a gig now. I'm like, are you sure?
All of this is mine?
Yeah, and I'm like, thank you so much. Because I've been in this business for so long and just never got paid. I was just like still working in bars and like, you know, doing like selling Prosecco. And now I'm able to balance like I do tour guiding and comedy, and it kind of still works. So it's good.
Yeah. I find it fascinating. I mean, I did a double act very briefly with Eddie Brimson, and it worked. But it's when you see like bands like Earth, Wind and Fire, like how the fuck did they make any money?
I know.
You know, there was like 12 of them or whatever it was. It's like,
I know.
Incredible.
I know. But you have to have other stuff going on for you.
Yeah. To pay the bills and make sure you can still stay in the arts and do the thing that your heart is telling you to do,
exactly.
Which is what you're doing. And this has been lovely, Katie. I really appreciate you joining us today. Where can we find you on the socials?
On Instagram, Katie Norris 26.
Lovely.
And then I am on TikTok, but I mean, whatever. Like,
do you know what I have done? So this might be the 5th or 6th interview I've done this week with comedians, and every single one of you, regardless of age, has said the same thing about TikTok. I'm on it, but I don't. I'll get to it. It's just because you've got to make like a TV show now on there. It's a lot.
You just got to get in the habit of posting every day, like
every day. Oof.
Yeah, it's horrible. Sorry,
it's horrible.
It really is. I feel very scared about the whole thing. I am quite nervous about not selling tickets because I don't have followers.
Oh, I know. This is the thing we're dealing with now, isn't it? The fact
it frightens me. It really frightens me. Yeah.
You'll be all right. You've already got an audience from what you were doing before. They'll follow you. I'm sure they will. You'll be fine.
And obviously I'll have a lot of farmers coming.
You'll have loads of farmers. You'll have loads of it's going to be a weird one for you.
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like usually my audience are made up entirely of men sat alone holding plastic bags. The same men.
I think there's going to be a bit of that. So
you're probably listening to this as well. Hey guys,
how you doing, plastic bag lads? Hello. They've got their own WhatsApp group and everything.
They do.
They do. But this has been lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. This has been Insane in the Membrane. This has been Katie Norris. I've been Rich Wilson, and we will see you next time.